We started our online fitness business a couple weeks ago, and as the leaders in online fitness business education for a lot of years, we got to know all of the software companies inside and out. We have been working with them. I've been an advisor. I've advised basically every major software company. And so when it came time for us to build our system, I wanted to choose the one that we were going to work with, the software program that we were going to work with, that was going to be the right combination of ease of use. We're going to onboard a lot of coaches very quickly to work with our clients. We brought on 5 at the beginning, but we wanted to build a system where we could bring on a lot of coaches. So very, very quickly. So it had to be really easy to use, had to have the right kind of automation, had to have the data that we needed in there, had to have an Android app and an EOS app. And so we decided to use PT Distinction. And that's not just because they were the sponsors for our show. We decided to use them after looking at all the options for what we needed the best, and really, really have been loving them so far. So I can't recommend PT Distinction enough if you're looking for online training software. And normally they give a 30-day trial fee to check out the system. But what they've done special for us and listeners of the show, so that's you, is giving you guys a 60-day trial. So basically double the trial period, really to make sure you love them. And one of the things I love about that is it's not like a coupon code. It's nothing, right? Like they're putting skin in the game. Like they're basically willing to let you try out everything they have for free for 60 days, knowing that you're going to love it so that you keep using it. And that to me is a testament to just their own belief in the quality of their system. And that's one of the things that I really look for. But I want to kick it to Ren for a second. Ren, you're one of our coaches in online trainer coaching. Yep. And so you just started using the system, 2 weeks ago and got in there. So how are you finding it so far, man?
It's very much like a pair of shoes for a kid. You can grow into it. What I love about it is how simple it is at the front end.
How did you just come up with that?
Yeah, I just made that up.
That is the best analogy that I think, like that analogy was so perfect for what perfect. You're talking about. And I know you just came up with that on the spot.
I did,
amazing.
But it is, you grow into it. So it works at every level is what I'm finding out, because I'm a little bit more complex as a trainer. I've been online training for a while. So I've been around the block, as they say. And one great thing about PT Distinction is it can go from simplicity to sort of explicit detail in a short amount of time. If you need more detail, if you're expert at programming, PT Distinction makes sense for you. If you're new to programming, PT Distinction is great for you. It's got a great library. So I love the fact that it will sort of grow along with your training business. That's one of my favorite things about it so far, having engaged with it for only a few weeks. So, I got to say, normally I don't support your choices, Jonathan. We all know that. But in this case, I'm willing to say possibly that you didn't make an error.
There you go. I mean, that's fantastic. So guys, if you're listening and you want to get going with that deal, with that special deal for PT Distinction, you can go to the show notes for this episode or just go straight to onlinetrainer.com/PTD. And you'll see there's coupon code. Just enter it in when you check out and you'll get the 60 days to check it out. Next up, I want to talk about the Online Trainer Academy for a moment. Is that cool if I do with you guys?
Yeah, we don't mind.
Okay. Well, there you go. So the Online Trainer Academy, a lot has been happening with the quarantine. A lot has been happening with COVID. A lot of people are talking about online training, are talking about how to do online training. What they're missing, simply put, is the breadth of experience. There are some things that you simply can't learn effectively quickly. And if you're a instructor, if you're somebody putting together curriculums, one thing that I've learned is that it takes a lot of time, because no matter how good a system or a strategy is, you've got to kind of watch that strategy go into the world and be used for like a year plus minimum in order to actually get any reliable information from it. And this is what we provide you guys with the Online Trainer Academy. This is not something that we've put together overnight. We've been around since 2013. 40 plus experts contributed to this. We had the senior course developer from Yale University do an independent audit on the learning styles of this. Just as one example, we've actually had multiple academic independent audits. We've had over 30,000 people go through this, battle test it, prove it in 87 countries. And all along the way, we've iterated on and improved upon in ways that, to be quite honest, you probably can't really even tell if you're going through it. You know, what makes a great program is not stuff that you notice. What makes a great program is comfort going through it, or things that you're applying, you're making use of the stuff as you're going without really even knowing just how powerful that stuff is. And then you look back at it a few years down the line and you're like, oh man, they prepared me for this.
Yeah.
And so I would love it if you guys were to join us for the Online Trainer Academy, see what we're all about. I mean, we've got a guarantee, you know, if it, like, we put our money where our mouth is, man. Onlinetrainer.com/academy. Sign up. You can get going for as little as $87 a month for 12 months. We guarantee you that you will make a minimum $1,000 with your online training business within 90 days of enrolling, or we'll give you your money back. Like, test it out, take the leap, and we'd love to work with you. That's the Online Trainer Academy, onlinetrainer.com/academy. We'd love to work with you. Glenn, start the episode, my man.
So, I mean, first of all, Jonathan's brilliant in his explanation of all these things. We all know that. There's something else that I hate, guys, and I like to start this podcast with some positivity, but then every time I try to get out, Jonathan, they keep pulling me back in to the negativity. You know, if I make quotes.
It taps your hide?
Yeah, it taps my hide. They just pull me back in. You know, to all my, I don't have constituents, do I? That's not the right word.
This is why this podcast is best enjoyed with chocolate. For anybody.
Enjoy your chocolate, Jonathan. Take a break. You've done some heavy lifting early in the podcast today. Normally you get to rest early, get a snack, re-energize.
He put in his reps.
Yeah, we'll circle back around to him, Keto.
I'm muting while I chew this coffee crisp.
Yeah, just mute yourself, please. So, challenges. So my page is a page where challenges come to die. Keto, I don't know how you feel about this. You know, there's the music challenge. You know, someone challenged me to share my favorite albums of all time over the next 10 days. You know, and no disrespect to the cause. I believe in the seriousness of our veterans in the United States and abroad and all over the world. The push-up challenge. I've gotten the squat challenge. You know, I nominate, like I get a lot of nominations. I've got more nominations without victories than that lady that was on the daytime soap operas in the United States. I think her name was Susan Lucci from All My Children. She was nominated for like 45 years for daytime Emmy, and she won one like year 46. Like, I'm like that. You keep
She's
nominating
the
for
Leonardo DiCaprio of daytime.
She's the Leo. Do you trust me, Rose? But you know. So I'm constantly nominated for these challenges, and I'm sorry to disappoint my fellow trainers and coaches and fit people out there, but the challenge dies at my page. Like, I'm not going to do the push-ups. I'm not going to do the squats. I'm not going to nominate the sports figures for the next 10. Like, I just don't have the time for the challenge.
I feel the same.
Keto, is this the same? So,
yeah, absolutely.
So don't take offense. You know, I'm recording podcasts, you know, I'm annoying Amber Reynolds every chance I can get. It's a full day for me. So I'm not going to participate in your challenges. You know, Jonathan, I guess we need to start the show. I don't know.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Goodman, and welcome to the Online Trainer Show. Today is actually episode 28. I made a mistake last time. Last episode was 27. We're not going to go back and edit it, because we frankly don't care enough. Today, we're talking about building your online training support systems. Thanks for being here.
This is the Online Trainer Show. Trainer Show. Trainer Show. This is the Online Trainer Show.
We shouldn't have a podcast. Jingle, jingle. So Keto.
Yes, sir.
It's been 2 days since we've seen you. Since you dropped the bombshell. Since you shook the world with this news several days ago, I can't imagine that anything more significant has happened since then. But you never cease to amaze us with the wild, sort of the wild. I don't even have the word.
Randomness of my life.
Yes, that's a good word. I was going to go softer, but randomness works here.
Did you think when you met when you decided to first come to Canada, did you think that you'd end up buying a house with the mayor of Barrie?
No, I didn't. What the heck? This is what happens to you when you're a yes person to adventure.
Right,
when you're
right.
just like, screw it, whatever, sure. Like, why not? Let's do this thing.
Clearly.
And then, 10, 11 years go by and you're like, holy crap, what? Like, look, what? Yeah.
So this wasn't your 5-year plan. You didn't say to yourself, 5 years.
No, I definitely did
Canada.
not come here. I did not even, I was not familiar with municipal politics when I moved here. That's definitely safe to say.
And dance was the gateway to these changes.
Dance.
It's important. If you're listening, America, this is why it's important to support the arts. You never know when your child might learn to dance to the extent that she ends up marrying a foreign dignitary in the city that she lands in. You can't do that through math. I'm telling you.
We
you
haven't talked about getting married.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
I mean, technically, I'm not even divorced from my previous marriage. So
That's all right. Technicality.
Step by step, okay.
Imperfect action, Keto.
Amber's faithful. Amber's like, what is happening here? It's all true.
Amber's
This is good. This is good. I like where this is going.
Amber's got another
so hold up.
vacation
You're technically not married.
Not
divorced.
divorced.
You're technically still not divorced.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me more about that.
Oh, it's because that's the way it like in Canada, like the moment there's two legal kind of like processes when a marriage ends. The first one is separation. And so they, you get to be separated for as long as you want. Legally, you are no longer bound. The marriage is dissolved. It's still like a legal ending of the marriage. But you're not officially divorced, in case for the people who just don't care about taking that extra step or who change their minds and do end up together with the former spouse or whatever.
But can you get legally married to somebody else, or do you have to?
No. Like if a separated person wants to get legally married to somebody else, they do have to go and finish that and get divorced.
Weird.
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, it doesn't make a difference to me. Like, it doesn't really matter. It's just like the formalities of the legal process. That's the way it works, but it doesn't mean anything.
So
anyway.
weird, though.
So much learning here. In the South, the divorce is legal if you take the shotgun with you when you leave. Then you're legally divorced in the Southeastern United States. Very uncomplicated here. Really simple. Keto, it's almost too much information today.
I've heard that about me before. It's like, almost,
right on
too much.
Right on the edge of a little bit too much information. I'm going to have to temper my questions from here on out. Maybe give you multiple choice, 2 or 3 answers that are possible. We can't allow any more free thinking in your stories. That's clear. So Jonathan, we've got a topic today. And if you guys are listening, yes, this is the online train. Well, you know what is going on here by now. We're 28 or 27 or 29 episodes in. We can't make up our mind. But by now, you guys expect what you've gotten up to this point. I'm not even gonna excuse it anymore. Just deal with it. If you're here, just deal with it. It's what we're doing. We're not gonna change. Deal with it. But Jonathan, we do have a topic today. Anything going on in your world, Jonathan? I feel rude. I didn't ask you how your life has been.
Nothing going on in my life.
Okay, cool. So we got a topic today. We've talked enough about that. We've got a topic today, and I, of course, I don't know what it is. I never know what it is, even though you just said it. But where are we going? What rabbit hole shall we go down today, Jonathan?
You actually don't know what it is?
No, I mean, I know you said something about things earlier. Carol's story absolutely distracted me, by the way. All the things I knew before that story, I have no idea about now.
Amber, do you even own shirts with sleeves on them?
No, legitimately, no, not really.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't either if I had delts like that.
So in case you need the reminder, it's building your online training support systems. That's what we're talking about.
Oh,
so much, Carol.
You are bringing it home. You're passing the baton today, Carol. You're doing good. You're doing good. Okay, so we're talking about support systems. That's cool. What aspects of support systems do you want to talk about? I mean, we can talk about some of the pitfalls. We can talk about some examples of good support systems.
Where
do you want to start?
We're stunned by the choice that Jonathan, you like. We don't know how to react to this question because it usually just tells us what we're talking about. What do you think, Keto? Pitfalls?
I mean, you asked me about support systems, and all I can think of is my therapist. So there's that.
Thank you for that, Keto. In fact, I think pitfalls, Jonathan. Like,
wait, it's almost like she volunteers too much information. It's not even. It's not even that we. It's not even
Somebody
that we like try to.
You don't even need to try. Yeah, I'll just give it up. It's okay. It's all right.
So Carolina, I ate lunch today. I was sad.
Yeah, right. She goes like with keto, it's 100 or 0. Like,
100%.
There's no in between.
There's no in between.
There's no moderation. It's all of it or none of it.
That's right.
She's not here at all.
So speaking of moderation, let's talk about online training support systems.
Yes, do that, Jonathan, please.
Look at that segue. It's important to set appropriate precedents. That's the most important thing. A lot of the time what people do is they think that more is better. And this is one of the areas where if you copy other online trainers online, you're probably going to fall into trouble because what you will find out very quickly is that unless they've learned from the Online Trainer Academy and a few other places, I'm not saying that we're the only place out there that knows what we're talking about, but unless they've learned from the Online Trainer Academy, they probably haven't given much thought or enough thought into how they're setting precedents for support and how thorough and proactive that system is going to be. They'll do things like, oh, and you get unlimited support and you can email me anytime and blah, 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 blah. It's like, first off, that's a disservice to the client because you want to lift your clients up. You want to give your client permission to take ownership of their journey and you're the coach guiding them. You're not babysitting them. Nobody does well with that. That's why a lot of people don't do well with their online clients is because they tried to babysit them too much, thinking that's what their clients want. And then the other piece of it from your perspective is, of course, like the whole point of online training or adding online to your fitness business. And most people don't do just online, by the way. Like most people do it hybrid and still work in person. And you have the option of either, and you can really craft your perfect business model, which is one of the really cool pieces of this. And you'll kind of see what I mean with like support systems. But the whole point of it is that you now take back control of your schedule and decide when you're going to be available to your clients and how you're going to be available to the clients. And that's kind of a balance between what they need, how they need it, and also what you need in order to fill up your cup so that you can take care of them better. And the worst thing ever is setting a precedent that you're always going to be available and omnipresent for your clients. You get that like phantom ghost buzzing in your pocket with your phone. You know that?
Yeah.
It's like you're walking down the street and you just feel like your phone is always buzzing. You're like, my phone isn't even on vibrate. Or like the worst is like, yo, my phone's not even in my pocket. I literally left my phone at home to go for a walk with my wife. And it's not even in my pocket and I still feel like it's buzzing. Like that is not a good psychological state to be in. Like that's something that Carolina probably like speaks to her therapist about. Right. It's just one of those.
How do you know?
How do you know these things about me? And so like you have to communicate with clients when you're available, when you're not available, and how you're available. And so avoiding that is probably the first most important. And we'll talk about like some very specific ways to offer support, of course, because I want to give some like really actionable bits. But the first thing to know is you need to have blocks of time when you are either available for communication to your clients or when you handle communications to your clients. And there's a number of different ways you can do that. You can't just say you're available all the time. That's a miserable way to live your life. You need to be there for the people you love. You need to be there for your hobbies, for your own fitness. You need to be there just to have time to chill and be bored and be creative and work on your business and not feel like you're constantly having to be reactive. And so setting like that comes first, right? Like you got to fill your cup first before you even start to think about how you're going to support other people, because that needs to influence and impact and instruct how you build your systems and what service levels you kind of offer later on down the road.
That makes sense. So one of the errors that I see, and Keto probably too, is the coach who says when you're differentiating between your prices, and we had another episode where we talked about pricing and packaging. But Keto, did you do this when you started? Like, part of my differentiation of my prices and packaging was, one was, you can talk to me anytime. Like, I'm always available.
Right.
And I'm
you get access.
84 hours a day. Like, did you run into that, Keto? Was that a pitfall that you ran into?
Yeah, I think instinctively we all try to start that. Like, we perceive that as being equivalent to value. So if we're trying to charge more, we feel that by giving people more access to us, we're automatically giving them more value. And those two things are not necessarily equal. Like, they don't necessarily equate to each other, right? So I know exactly what you mean. And I feel like I did do it. And then, luckily I haven't been into that for a long time, because it's a miserable way to live your life.
Super stressful. And Jonathan sort of killed it on that episode where we had the discussion about that by saying it's probably scaring people that they probably don't want to talk to you all the time, always.
Right.
They're like,
people want
that's
to
a
have
turnoff.
you. People like seeing you having a life, and like seeing you going to a restaurant and what you actually order in real life in a real restaurant while having social time with real friends. It's okay.
Right. So Jonathan, what are the support pitfalls, if any, do we commonly fall into?
Well, I want to talk about talk about some of the systems, and in that I guess I'll talk about some of the pitfalls. I mean, the biggest pitfall is just offering too much. The biggest pitfall is just not being thoughtful in what you offer.
Right.
And then being responsive. That's the biggest pitfall. But the question is, like, how do you offer it to people? So like I said, there's basically two ways that you can offer support to people. You can offer like some sort of a group support, and then you can offer an individualized, like on the phone with them, that type of thing. Very few people really need that much time on the phone with you. Mm-hmm. And what we found, there are exceptions to this. I mean, people who do like life coaching and are trained in life coaching perhaps are an exception with this, but they need to charge a lot because they need to spend a lot of time on the phone with someone. Mm-hmm. What we found is that the majority of people out there really don't want to talk to you that much. There really isn't that much to talk about. The goal of support is twofold. The first one is really just so that the client knows that you're there. Call it the "I got you, buddy," arm around the shoulder type of support. Like you've got a friend in me. What is it about that? Just knowing that somebody believes in you and somebody's in your corner. Mm-hmm. The second is identify any kind of red flags. And the interesting thing about that is when it comes to identifying red flags, there's actually a lot of ways that you can program into your business. I mean, we talk about PT distinction. I'll tell you exactly how we're using PT distinction to do that. Mm-hmm. And for our online trainer coaching, which, by the way, if you're interested in getting in on that for the first cohort that we did, it was a private cohort. We just wanted 100 clients, so we filled it in a day with a little private list. But if you want to get on the wait list for the next cohort for that, that's our online fitness coaching service specifically designed for nutrition and fitness professionals. Super, super cool what we're building, or what we've built. And so if you're interested in learning about that and getting on the wait list for the next one, just go to the ptdc.com/OTC. It's called Online Trainer Coaching. You can put your name and email in there. And so I'll talk to you about how we're kind of doing the support there. It's kind of a waste of the coach's time to have to remember to reach out to every single client to check in with them. Mm-hmm. And the coach also probably isn't going to do a very good job doing that because it's just not the kind of rote task that a human being is very good at. That's the kind of rote task that a computer is very good at. Yeah. And so PT distinction basically allows you to organize, like it works on groups. And you put your client could be in a group by him or herself, or they could be in series of groups. In our case, we put them in teams of 5. Mm-hmm. And because I think small group accountability and small teams are really powerful and actually better than working by yourself. So for our program, we have individualized programming, individual communication, but most of the communication takes place within the team of 5. And the team of 5 works together, just because I think that's a better way for everybody. And you get to meet and network with other fit pros too. And so one of the groups are check-in messages. And these are automated for, the program is 12 weeks long, and then people renew for additional basically 12-week bouts. And these messages, these check-in messages are automated from the beginning to go out to people. So the coach never needs to remember to send a message to check in with somebody. And the check-in messages are as simple as like, hey, on a scale of 1 to 5, how'd you sleep last night? Or the traffic light is great. I think it's like traffic light Tuesday. Hey, are you a green, yellow, red right now in how you're feeling? And so there's a series of these messages, and clients of online trainer coaching will see them all, and I encourage you to swipe them and use them for your own. But really, the only purpose of these things is to identify times when a coach might need to show up in a greater capacity.
Right.
And to me, that's why it's important to set appropriate precedents. That's why it's important to under-promise and over-deliver. And that's how you leverage technology and automation. You don't remove the coach. What you do is you use this technology to be able to identify exactly where a coach needs to show up. So somebody might say, hey, I'm sleeping horribly. Or somebody might say, I'm a red right now, man. I'm really struggling. Or somebody might not answer.
Right.
Right. And so that's when the coach then shows up and shows up in a greater capacity for that person when they need it. And the reason why a coach can do that is because they have so much more time and energy, because they're not doing all the other crap of remembering to reach out all the time.
Right.
Right. And so that's where you go above and beyond. That's just one example of how to use technology, and PT Distinction's a great example of that, of how you use it. And then, how do you go kind of, and so then actually we can talk about those messages, because you've seen them. Basically, we're starting a coaching program with 5 coaches working with 20 clients each. And in the week between when clients have finished filling out their intake forms to the program starts, the coach's job is to go in and work on the programs, and then basically there are some places that each coach has to go in and fill in the blanks in some of the messages.
Tailoring those messages down, once they realized that I was going to be involved in any capacity, we had to immediately go to PT Distinction to foolproof the entire process with massive amounts of check and automations. They had to REN-proof it. So because of that, the rest of the coaches get this incredible program, this incredible methodology to deal with the other clients. Had they gone in a different direction for the 5th coach, it'd be much simpler, much more task heavy. But to make, they sat around and what would this look like if it was easy for Ren? Let's automate everything. And that's what happened.
Well, we all actually have bracelets on our management team. We all have WWOD on our bracelets. What would Ren do?
What would Ren do?
And it reminds us to just simplify. Lowest common denominator.
And I don't feel attacked in any way by that. As a matter of fact, I'm 100% on board with it, for the sake of clarity. But so Keto, like, have you run into support challenges? I mean, are these some of the solutions that you use too in terms of supporting your client, or do you find that in the past you've been a helicopter trainer? Like
Yes, I've done that, and it sucks, and I'm not built for it either. Like, I was doing that because I thought that was what was necessary and what was expected, and I'm not that kind of person. I'm a very chill, laid back. Even as a parent, I never hover over my kids. Like, it's just not my style. So it was a miserable time in my career because I just couldn't enjoy it the way that I like enjoying coaching. So yeah.
Something you said, Carolina, in an earlier episode, it was pretty early on, I don't even remember which one, but it stuck out to me, is, you spoke a little bit about your mental health challenges and how important it was for you to set things in advance as much as possible.
Yeah.
Because when an episode does hit and you need to take that time for yourself,
Yeah.
you have to be able to take that.
Yes, absolutely. It's true. It's true. And it's unpredictable. And it's not only in mental health. If you think about it, that's life. Like stuff can happen to any of us at any time. So you're kind of like safeguarding your work and your career and your client relationships the more that you're able to do up front. So it definitely makes sense just for everyone, regardless of your specific challenges.
Yeah, I mean, you want to go away. You want to hire new coaches.
Yes.
Like the way to hire people to work for you when you get to that point. I mean, all jokes aside, like Gwen is brilliant. Obviously, you guys can see just how smart and how quick he is. Don't tell him I ever said that. But one of the things that is really important whenever you're building and trying to build a program that can scale is you have to be able to hire and bring on people with as little subject matter expertise as possible. Not because you don't want people who have the subject matter expertise. It's just simply more difficult to find them and keep them. And so the more you can intelligently program that into your system and build the IP and develop the technology around your system, and PT Distinction makes that easy, like software makes that easy, right? The easier it's going to be when the time comes to begin the process of removing yourself from some of the day-to-day, all of the day-to-day. And if you do it well, you should be able to bring on a lot of people very quickly. If it gets to that point, like you don't ever want to get to the point where your marketing is going really, really well. And you're like, okay, awesome. I have all these clients coming and I can't service them.
Right.
Like you don't want to get you kind of got to be there beforehand, right?
That's awful.
Right. Like you've worked your butt off for this and now you can't do it because you're offering every single client a 30-minute phone call. And in order to do that phone call, you're too scared of somebody else doing that phone call because you have such a compassionate, empathetic approach.
Yeah.
Man, that's a nightmare. Like I saw my career flash before my eyes when you said that, because I think it's something that there was one episode of the Roadrunner cartoon where the coyote catches roadrunners. Like
there was
one of the most, it's like one of the most famous episodes.
Yeah,
and as soon as he catches it, he holds up the sign and says, "Now that I've caught him, what am I supposed to do with him?" And that's sort of what Jonathan just explained. Like, you got an influx of 30 people. Yeah, you crushed it. You got people come and you have no systems for those people when they arrive.
Yeah, that's super relatable.
You can immediately put yourself out of business. So, Jonathan, if I may put you on the spot, and perhaps Keto also, I know we're wrapping up here. Amber's giving me the look. She just affirmed it by nodding once stoically that yes, that is indeed the look that you're seeing. Can I put you on the spot for like one or two quick tips, Jonathan or Keto, anybody? Like, give me a solid tip for building my support.
I love office hours. We talk about this a lot. This is something that a lot of people are doing that are graduates and alumni of the Online Trainer Academy. It's as simple as it sounds. You are available for office hours the same as a college professor or somebody would be. Where you say to your clients, hey, happy to talk to you. Twice a week, I'm logged into Skype on Tuesday and Thursday from 2 to 4 p.m., whatever, pick the times when your people are going to be around. And during those times, you can chat with me about whatever you want. You can log into Skype, happy to talk to you for the whole time, whatever. And if you can't log into those times, feel free to drop me a question into Skype and I'll answer it during those times. Right. And the nice thing about that is it allows you to give personalized one-on-one feedback support to a bunch of people at once, because you could be having text message conversations and Skype all at once, but it's all in one place. And the other nice thing about it is if you got to go deeper with somebody, you just click the call button and now you're on a call with them for 2 minutes, right? And saying, hey, tell me, but you don't need to book a 30-minute call. You don't need to schedule a 15-minute thing. During that time, you just hit the call button. You're like, all right, man, tell me what's up. And you can talk through it. You can talk through it for as long as short as you need. And then with that, of course, if you have to go deeper, right? You can always go above and beyond. But I love office hours, man. I think it's great. I think it's very important to set precedents for when you're around or when you're not around. We do this in our Facebook group as well.
Mhm.
Anybody who's done the Founding Client Challenge knows there's a schedule of when we will be providing support in the Facebook group. It is very clear from day one. You will have coaches in this group answering questions at these times. If you ask a question outside of those times, totally cool. Know that it's going to be answered at these times.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know, sometimes I just wait a week to answer somebody's email, not because I can't get to it sooner, but like I don't want them to think that I'm going to respond to them right away.
Right.
Because if you think about what behaviors that causes in the future. If they know that I'm going to take 7 days to get back, they're going to be way more thoughtful in including what they need to include in that email, knowing that there can't be a back and forth conversation. You've got to set these precedents, right? Doesn't mean that you can't offer great support. Doesn't mean that you can't be there for people all of the time. But you can't create the expectation that the minute that somebody messages you, you're going to get back to them right away. That's just no way to live your life. I don't know. It's no way to live my life. I don't want to do that.
Kettle, we got 3.5 minutes before we wrap this thing up. Any tip for you, like anything that you give out in terms of boundaries like that with your clientele?
Actually, boundaries, it's same.
Support?
I could also like echo what Jonathan said, but mostly like the boundaries come like from me to me. As I've mentioned before, like for me to be effective at work, my brain requires boundaries. I have to have time limits. I have to have specific goals that until this is completed, I am not allowed to move on to the next step. Otherwise, I jump all over the place and I get nothing done. So set kind of like those things as a support system for your own business. And all joking aside, a great tip for support, because we work by ourselves, we're alone. Do have friend coaches that you can reach out to in the times in which you feel like you suck.
100%.
Because you're going to feel like that. And you need somebody who's there to coach you through the suckiness and remind you that you're actually good. So we all need that. Yeah. So find those people in your life and treat them well. You want them.
Find people that you can also be vulnerable with and say, I feel like I suck today. I feel like I failed with this client today. Yeah. Find somebody that you can be honest like that with, not in a crappy Facebook group where everybody just wants to show off that they're a better fit pro than you are.
You should be a coach.
Real conversation.
I know, because I run 2 of those groups.
Exactly.
I can't stand most of the conversations that happen in there. It's like, just be a good, supportive person, man.
Yeah.
You don't have anything nice to say, just don't say it. Like, nobody is impressed by you.
Nobody
telling this person that they're an idiot
that
because
they
have a question about something that they
that never comes across well. Don't be that person, and do reach out to specific colleagues and that can become like your gang and who will have your back when you really need it.
And if somebody does do that because you asked a question about something you actually felt vulnerable about or actually wanted to know, just ignore them. That's a reflection on them. That's something that they are suffering with. The only reason why people do that type of stuff online is because they lack self-belief, because they lack self-worth. The only reason why anybody boasts about anything, we don't boast about things we're confident in. We don't show off cars if we're confident that we have money. We don't show off that we know about fitness and programming and that we're a great personal trainer if we're confident that we are a good personal trainer. We do those things because we lack confidence in our abilities, and we crave the perceived social support from somebody else in that because of how much we're lacking.
So true. So true. Attitude is self-esteem turned inside out.
Yes. I did not expect to talk about that just now.
That's all right. It needed to happen. So show notes. We got show notes. You go up to onlinetrainer.com/podcast. Grab the show notes from this episode. It was 27 or 28 or 29. We haven't decided which episode it was. It'll be listed by the show notes when you see the thing. Like, we can't be trusted for that. Thanks so much, Amber, for coming back to get this thing back on the rails. We missed you while you were gone. Jonathan, as always, riveting information. Keto, just pure craziness, but a loving craziness that we crave. Yeah, we crave it from episode to episode. You just shout out to Keto too, because you guys, sometimes we don't allow her to expand on the brilliance that is Catalina Belmontes, and there is brilliance there. But I think we've all sort of found out, like when she drops a nugget, it's a good nugget. Like she's, we're all very well qualified. We're just pretending to be lame and idiotic.
I mean, that's part of the shtick, right?
It's
part of the thing.
It's part of the
It's what we
charm.
do. It's part of the act. So leave us a review. I meant to read the review from last time that I said I was going to read. I'm going to read that
Next time, I gotta go.
Jonathan's got to go. We've got to go. This has been the Online Trainer Show. Do the jingle, because I figured out you guys play it only if I say it at the end. So jingle, jingle. I have power here now.
This is the Online Trainer Show. Trainer Show. Trainer Show. This is the Online Trainer Show. We shouldn't have a podcast.